Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to solve the part A of the 2021 National Common Entrance Examination. As usual, we are aware that the exam is usually in two parts. We have the part A, which is made up of mathematics and basic science and technology, and part B, which is English and national values education. But in this video we are going to focus mainly on the part A, which is the mathematics and basic science technology. And in case you need more of this video, you can check my channel where I've solved the 2019 and the 2020 mathematics of the National Common Entrance Examination. So with this, let's give it a word. As usual, we are aware that in any examination, there are rules and regulations to guide the candidates. But in this video, time might not permit us, but you can go through it. Here are the rules. With this, let's start. Alright, the first question we have here is change 478 to Roman numerals. We have 478 to Roman numerals. The best way to go about this is to write the place value on each of the digits. We have this unit, tens, and hundred, right? So this one will give us 400. So 400, then 7 tens, which is 70, right? And 8 unit, which is only 8. So the question is, what is 400 in Roman numerals? 400 in Roman numerals is 500 minus 100, which is CD, and 70 is 50 plus 20, which is LXX. And what is 8? 8 is VIII. So if you add all this, you're going to have CDLXX VIII. So this is it. So let's check our option. If we have CDLXX VIII. So from our option, the answer is B, right? CDLXX VIII. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 2 says, write in word 4690, 852. So the best way to go about this is to write the place value of each digit on the number. This will go a long way. So we have unit, tens, hundred, thousand, tens of thousand, hundred of thousand, and we have million, right? So in what now will be 4 million, 690,000. We have 852. So that's this number in word. The answer is what? 4,690,852. So let's check our options. So from our option, the answer is D. D is 4,690,852. You see? So that's our answer. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 3 says that what is the place value of 6 in 123.64? So you can see that this number is made up of a whole number and a decimal fraction. So the numbers, as we know, as usual, the numbers before the decimal point are whole numbers. So these ones are whole numbers, while any number from this decimal point, this is the decimal point, any number after the decimal point is actually the decimal numbers. So the way we write the place value of whole numbers is different from the decimal numbers, and we are asked to find the place value of 6, and 6 is at the decimal number part. So how are we going to do? You know that in the decimal number part, the first number after the decimal point starts with what? Start with tenths, right? Tenths, like this. then ends with th as tenths. So the place value of 6 here is tenths. This one is tenths, right? Tenths. And 4 here will be what? Hundredths. Hundredths. So because these numbers are the decimal numbers. But if it was the whole number part, we start with a unit. So this 3 will be unit, then this 12 will be tens, and this one will be hundreds, right? But since it's decimal number part, we don't start with unit, we rather start with tenths, hundreds, and so on and so forth. So the answer here is 6 what? Tenths. 6 tenths. So from our option, the answer is D, tenths. Question 4. Question 4 says, which of the following numbers 0, 12, 5, minus 12, minus 5 is the lowest? The secret here is that any biggest number that bears negative sign is the smallest. Any biggest number that bears a negative sign is always the smallest. So now, among these numbers, 12 is the biggest, and yet it has what? A negative sign. So that means this is the smallest number. So the smallest number is minus 12. So minus 12e is our answer. So let's move to the next question. All right. Question 5 says, if a sachet of semovita costs 700 naira, what will be the cost of 20 sachets? Right? So we know that one sachet costs how much? It costs 700 naira. So 20 sachets, we said 20 sachets will cost what? We don't know. X, right? X naira. We don't know the amount. So what are you going to do? You cross multiply. So if you cross multiply now, we're going to have 1 times X is equals to 20 times 700, right? So 1 times X is X, and 20 times 700. So let's multiply it down here. We're going to have 700 times 20. So 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0, and 0 times 0 is 0. Then 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, and 2 times 7 is 14. So draw a line. At this, we have 0, 0, 0, and 14. So it will give us 14,000. So 14,000 naira. So this is the amount for 20 sachets of semovita. So let's check our options. So from our option, the answer is C. So 20 sachets of semovita will cost 14,000 naira. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 6 says convert 5 days into hours. So we're going to convert 5 days to hours. So how are we going to convert 5 days to hours? We are aware that one day is made up of about 24 hours. So we're going to say one day is equal to 24 hours, right? Then 5 days now will be equal to how many hours? We don't know. So write X hours. You can use any alphabet, right? X hours. So as usual, let's cross multiply. Cross multiply. This one multiply by this, and this will multiply by this. So we'll have 1 times X is equals to 24 times 5. 1 times X is X. Then 24 times 5. So let's multiply down here. 24 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Put 0, carry 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So we're going to have 120 hours. 120 hours. So let's check it. From option, the answer is E, 120 hours. So 5 days is equals to 120 hours. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 7 says, which of the following numbers is a perfect square? We have 54. From the option, we have 70, we have 86, we have 90, and we have 121. So these are the numbers. Which among these numbers is a perfect square? So the question is, what is a perfect square? A perfect square number is a number that when you take the square root, you're going to have a whole number. That is a number that doesn't have a fraction or a number that doesn't have a decimal point. And if you use your calculator or you use the prime factor method to get the square root, you'll find that 54 will always have decimal point, 70 will have decimal point, 86 will have decimal point, 90 will have decimal point, but 121 will give you 11. Can we prove that? Yes, we can prove that. How? Let's see. Using prime number method, you can set 121. What is that prime number that can divide 121 without remainder? Of course, is 11. 121 divided by 11 is 11 times. And what can divide 11 is only 11. Since 11 is a prime number, 11 divided by 11 is 1. So group it. Since the square root, group it, you're going to have a group of 11. So we can say that the square root of 121 is 11. And you see, so 11 is a perfect square. So 121 is a perfect square since it will give us 11 without any decimal point or fraction. So the answer is E. Let's move to the next question. All right, question 8 says simplify the square root of one whole number 11 over 25. So what I'm going to do, the first thing to do is to convert this mixed fraction into improper fraction. And how we're going to do, we're going to multiply the whole number, that's 1 times 25. After getting the answer, then we add it to the numerator, right? So we're going to say 1 times 25 is 25, and 25 plus 11. So let's do 25 plus 11 is going to give us 6 and 3, right? So this one here, we're going to have our square root as usual. We have 36 over 25. So we have converted this into an improper fraction. So now the next thing is to take the square root, because we have a square root here, right? What is the square root of 36? The square root of 36 is 6. And what is the square root of 25? The square root of 25, of course, is 5. So what type of fraction is this? This is an improper fraction. So we will have to convert it to a mixed fraction. So how are we going to do it? So we said 6 divided by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divided by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will go 1, remainder 1. So it will go what? 1 time remainder 1. So therefore it's going to be 1 time, that's one whole number, remainder 1 over 5 over this 5, right? So we have converted it. So let's check our options and see whether we have one whole number 1 over 5. The answer from the option is B. So don't forget to always change it to mixed fraction whenever your answer is an improper fraction. So let's move to the next number. Alright, question 9 says find the value of 4 plus the square root of 16 minus 3. So this is a simple question. What are you going to do? The first thing to do is to find the square root of this 16. And what is the square root of 16? Of course, is 4. So the square root of 16 is 4. So we're going to have 4 plus, instead of this, the square root of 16, we're going to find the square root, which is 4. 4 now minus 3. Then 4 plus 4 is 8 minus 3. And 8 minus 3 is equals to 5. So let's check our options. Our option, the answer is D. So let's move to the next question. Alright, question 10 says find the value of the square root of 12 whole number 1 over 4 and plus the square root of 1 whole number 9 over 16. This is almost the same thing with the problem we've solved earlier, but in this case we have two of the square roots. So what we're going to do, as we said, the first thing is to convert all the mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So we're going to start with this. We said 12 times 4 is 48, right? 12 times 4 is 48. 48 plus 1 here is 49. So we're going to have the root of 49 over 4, and plus the square root of 1 times 16 is 16, and 16 plus 9 is 25. So we're going to have 25 over 16. So to the next, so now coming back to this, what is the square root of 49 and what is the square root of 4, right? So the square root of 49 is 7 over the square root of 4 is 2. So write 2. Then plus, what's the square root of 25? The square root of 25 is 5. We say 5 over, what's the square root of 16? It is 4. So I have 4. So can you see? So now what I'm going to do, this is simply addition of fraction that the denominators are different. If the denominators are different, what I'm going to do, you have to find the LCM of the denominators. So we have to find the LCM of denominators. We have the LCM, and what is the LCM of 2 and 4? Is 4 and 2. So let's find the LCM and see. So what is the number that can, what is that prime number that can go into 2 or 4? The smallest prime number is 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So go. The 2 can still go. 1 divided by 2, 1, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the LCM is 2 times 2. That is this one. Can you see that? This one here. So 2 times 2 is 4. So come back here, we write the LCM is 4. Can you see? So we're going to say 4 divided by 2 is what? 4 divided by 2 is 2. And the 2 times 7 is 14. So we're going to have 14 plus, plus down. Then we say 4 divided by 4 is 1, right? And 1 times 5 is 5. So we say 5. So you add 14 plus 5 is 19. We'll have 19 over this our LCM, which is 4. So we have 19 over 4. So what type of fraction is this? Of course, is an improper fraction. So we'll have to convert it to mixed fraction. So let's count 19 divided by 4. So let's count it up here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So divide by 4, we'll group it in 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is group of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, group of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, group of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, group of 4. And 1, 2, 3. So we'll have 4 times remainder 3. So 4 remainder 3. So and 4 remainder 3 is going to be what? 4 whole number, the remainder, which is 3 over 4. So this is our answer, right? So let's check our options. Do you have anything like 4 whole number 3 over 4? Yes, the answer is E. So let's move to the next question. All right. Question 11 says, if a baby is born on the 1st of July 2014, how old will he be on the 1st of December 2014? So remember, the baby was born on the 1st July, right? So July, the entire July, the baby, um so that means July will be counted among the months, right? Then August, then September, October, November. But if you include December, it's not going to be fair. But first December, which is the end of November, right? The question says first December, right? We are going to include December, in which, but remember the baby is not going into December completely. So only first December. The baby is actually how many months? One, two, three, four, five. How many? Is what? 5 months old. Remember that the entire December is not involved. It's just first December, which is immediately after November. So the baby is 5 months old. You see, the answer is B. Question 12 says, if the price of a pair of school sandals is reduced from 2,000 naira to 1,500 naira, how much is reduced? This is a very simple question. What we're going to do is we are to we're going to subtract 1,500 naira from 2,000 naira. Then we'll know how much was actually reduced. So we're going to say 2,000 naira minus 1,500 naira. If you subtract it, 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 0, 0. Then 0 minus 5 is not possible. You borrow 1 from here, you remain what? 1. And you put it here, give you 10, right? So 10 minus 5 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. So the amount reduced was what? The amount reduced is 500 naira. So from our option, the answer is D. Alright, question 13 says, the addition of 8 whole number 1 over 4 to a certain number gives 10 whole number 1 over 2. Find the number. So the first thing you should know here is that we don't know the number. So let's make the number to be anything alphabetical, right? X, Y, Z, anything. Maybe you can even use the first alphabet of your name. So we said let the number be X since we don't know the number, right? So after making X, so from the question it says that the addition of 8 whole number 1 over 4 to a certain number. That means we're going to add 8 whole number 1 over 4 to the unknown number, right? That's X. So we're going to say 8 whole number 1 over 4 plus our unknown, that's X. And it says that the number gives, that's the answer, it gives us 10 whole number 1 over 2. So after adding 8 whole number 1 over 4 plus a certain number which is X, the result or the answer gives us 10 whole number 1 over 2. Find the number. So what I'm going to do, the first thing to do is to check if there is any mixed fraction. We'll convert it to an improper fraction. Then we'll know what to do next. So these are this one is a mixed fraction and this is also a mixed fraction. So we'll convert to improper fraction by saying 8 times 4, which is 32, and 32 plus 1 is 33. So we're going to have 33 over 4 plus x is equals to, let's convert this one to improper fraction too. 10 times 2 is 20, and 20 plus 1 is 21. So we're going to have 21 over 2. Then balance this x with 1. So what I'm going to do, you can see that we are dealing with fractions that have different denominators. So we are going to take the LCM of all the denominators. So the LCM here of 4, 1, and 2. So let's try and find the LCM of 4. These denominators 4, 1, and 2. 4, 1, 2. So what is the smallest prime number that can go into any of this? We have 2. 2 into 4, that's 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then 1 divided by 2, of course, you know that is 1. Then 2 divided by 2 is 1. Remember that anytime you get to 1, just keep on writing 1 till the end. That's why you can see me writing 1 here. So what can divide further? We have 2 again. 2 divided by 2 is 1, then 1, 1. So our LCM is 2 times 2, which is 4. So the LCM here is 4. So we're going to say 4 divided by 4 is what? 1, right? And 1 times 33 is 33. So we're going to write 33 here, our plus sign, this one. Then 4 divided by 1 is 4. Then 4 times the numerator here, x. We're going to have 4x, right? So 4x is equals to 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 2 times 21 is 42. So we're going to have 42. So what I'm going to do with this LCM, since there is an equality sign, not this, since there's an equality sign in the LCM that we've taken, after taking the LCM and the manipulation, you should cancel the LCM. But if this equality sign was not here, we wouldn't have cancelled this 4, that is the LCM. Remember that whenever you're dealing with fractions, after taking the LCM, if there is an equality sign, try your possible best and cancel the LCM because of the presence of this equality sign. So after cancelling this, we're going to have a linear equation. 33 plus 4x is equals to 42. So remember that these ones are numbers, doesn't have alphabet, but this one have alphabet. So we're going to collect items. Those one without alphabets will move to one side, and that one that has alphabet will move to the other side. So we're going to have this one to move to the other side here. And remember that whenever a number crosses an equality sign, the sign, if it is positive, it changes to negative, and if it is negative, it will change to positive. Now, any number that is having invisible sign, that is doesn't have a sign there, it is an invisible plus, right? So that means this 33 is plus 33. So we're going to have 4x equals to 42 minus 33. So 42 minus 33, let's subtract it up here. 42 minus 33. So 2 minus 3 is impossible. You borrow 1, borrow you borrow 1, remain 3. Put it here. 12 minus 3 is 9. So 3 minus 3 is 0. So the answer is 9. So we are left with 4x is equals to 9. You're going to divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is what? 4. Right? Whenever you're looking for an alphabet, try and divide it by the coefficient of the alphabet. So dividing by the coefficient of x, which is 4, divide both sides by 4. You see? So if you divide both sides by 4, this 4 will cancel this 4. You're left with 9 over 2. And 9 over 2 is an improper fraction. So we're going to be left with x is equals to 9 over 4. So we're going to convert this 9 over 4 to mixed fraction because it's an improper fraction. How are we going to convert it? We're going to count 9. Let's count it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Divide by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2. So it will go 2 remainder 2. Right? So x will be, it will go 2 remainder, then write the 2 over 4. Can you see? But you're not true. Why? Because this 2 is still divisible. So this 2 here is 1 and 2 here is 2. So our answer now is going to be 2 whole number 1 over this 2. Can you see? So the answer is 2 whole number 1 over 2. So let's check our options. From our option now, the answer is C. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 14 says a boy needs 2 whole number 1 over 2 meters of clothes to make his uniform. Right? He needs 2 whole number 1 over 2 meters. To make his uniform, how many meters of cloth will be needed for 5 boys? So how many meters will be needed for what? 5 boys using the same measurement. So how going to go about this? Remember that the boy needs 2.5 meters to sew a uniform. That means one uniform is equals to, so one uniform will need 2 whole number 1 over 2 meters. Then 5 uniforms for 5 boys, right? 5 uniforms will give us what? Unknown meters. We don't know. Unknown meters. Can you see? So since one uniform will give us 2.5 meters, 5 uniforms will give us, we don't know. So what we're going to do? Cross multiply as usual. This multiply by this and this multiply by this. 1 times x is equals to 2.5 times 5. Can you see? And 1 times x is x equals to 2.5 times 5. You have to convert this mixed fraction to an improper fraction. So doing that, we're going to say 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1 will give us 5 over 2, right? So 5 over 2. Then remember we are multiplying by our 5 here, right? So times 5. Balance it with 1. So what are we going to do? We're going to say 5 times 5. 5 times 5 over 2 times 1. 2 times 1. So our x is equals to 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25 over 2 times 1 is 2. Right? So what type of fraction is this? This is an improper fraction. So we will have to convert this 25 over 2 to a mixed fraction or mixed number. So how we're going to do as usual. So let's count 25 divided by 2 as usual. Let's count it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Divide by 2. So we're going to group it in twos. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It will go 12 remainder 1. So 12 remainder 1. So since it is 12 remainder 1, we're going to say it will go 12 whole number, then 1 over the denominator, which is 2. So our answer is 12 whole number, 1 over 2. So we will, so the boys, so 12 whole number, 1 over 2 meters is what needed, right? To sew 5 boys uniform. So let's check our options. From our option, the answer is A. Let's move to the next question. Right, number 15 says a trader bought a basket of tomatoes for 10,000 naira and paid 5% as tax. How much did he pay as tax? How can we do? Remember that the amount paid. So we say amount paid. So amount paid is 10,000 naira, right? 10,000 naira. And he paid the tax of 5%. So tax 5%. So how going to get the amount he paid as tax? Remember that it is given as percentage, not as amount, right? So how going to convert this 5% of this 10,000 naira to normal cash? Don't forget that 5% means 5 over 100. So we're going to say 5 over 100 of the amount of the total amount, which is 10,000. And what's the meaning of this? Of means multiplication in mathematics, right? So we're going to say 5 over 100 times what? 10,000. So this 20 will go with this 20. Remember, you can balance it with 1. So you're left with what? You're left with 5 and 100. So multiply it. We're going to have 5 times 100. And let's multiply it here. 100 times 5. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 1 is 5. So the amount that the trader paid as tax is 500 naira. So let's check our options. From our option, the answer is A. Alright, question 16 says, if 100 envelopes cost 1000 naira, what will be the cost of 650 envelopes? So we're going to say that 100 envelopes cost how much? 1000 naira. Is that not? What will be the cost of 650 envelopes? So 650 envelope will cost how much? Will cost X. We don't know, right? That's the unknown because we don't know the value. X naira. So what I'm going to do? Cross multiply it as usual. X will multiply by this and 1000 will multiply by this. So we're going to have 100 times what? Times X. Is that not? Is equals to 650 envelope times 1000. So 100 times X is 100X is equals to 650 times 1000. So we're going to multiply it. So 1000 multiplied by 650. 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 1, 0. Then 5 times 0, 0, 5 times 0, 0, 5 times 0, 0, 5 times 1 is 5. Then 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0, 0, 6 times 0 is 0, and 6 times 1 is 6. So add this. If you add it, we have 0 here, 0, 0, 0, 5, and 6. So we're going to have 650,000. It says 650,000. Right? So what next? Since we are looking for this X, our unknown, I told you whenever you're looking for X, you divide it by the coefficient. The coefficient of X in this case is 100, right? So we're going to say divide both sides by 100. So 100 and 100. This 100 will cancel this 100, and these two zeros will cancel these two zeros. So we are left with X equals to 6500. Remember that anything divided by 1 is same thing as that number. So we have what? 6,500 naira. So let's check our option. Do we have anything like 6,500 naira? Of course, the answer is E. Let's move to the next question. So question 17. Arrange these fractions in descending order of magnitude. So what is descending order? Descending order means from what? From the biggest to the smallest. Right? From the biggest to the smallest. That's descending order. And one thing we should note here is that we can only compare or order fractions when the denominators are the same. But in this case, we have 3 over 5, comma, 2 over 3, comma, 1 over 3, comma, 5 over 6, comma, and 1 over 15. You can see that all the denominators are different. So we will have to get a common denominator for all the fractions in order for us to be able to arrange them. So how are we going to make the denominators to be the same? Of course, using LCM. So we'll take the LCM of all the denominators. So we have the LCM. The LCM of the denominators. Let's find the LCM of the denominators here. We have 5, we have 3, we have 6, and we have 15. So draw a line. So what is the smallest prime number that can go into any of these? Is 2. 5 divided by 2, of course, there will be remainder. So you write the 5 down. 3 divided by 2, of course, there will be remainder. Write the 3 down. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So write it. 15 divided by 2 will always be, there will always be a remainder. You write the 15 back. So is there any number that 2 can still go? No. Go for 3. 5 divided by 3, there will be remainder. Write the 5 back. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. So there's no number that 3 can go. We move to 5 because 5 is the next prime number. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 divided by 5, of course, we keep on writing our 1. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. So our LCM is 2 times 3 times 5. And 2 times 3 times 5 is what? Is 30. So the LCM here is 30. So we're going to say 30 divided by 5 is 6. And 6 times 3 is 18. So write 18 here. Then we said 30 divided by 3 is 10. And 10 times 2 is 20. So write, 20, 30 divided by 3 is 10. And 10 times 1 is 10, 30 divided by 6 is 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. So we have 25, we said 30 divided by 15 is 2. And 2 times 1 is 2. So write 2. Can you see? So now, after getting this, these numbers will be the numerator, while this LCM will be their denominator, right? So remember that our effort is to make them have the same denominator. So we have 18 over 30, then we have 20, 20 over 30, then we have 10 over 30, we have 25 over 30, and 2 over 30. So using this now, we will be able to compare these fractions, right? So remember, we are arranging them in descending order. That means we're going to start from the biggest. So what is the biggest among the fractions? Now we are going to check the numerator. Which one has the biggest numerator? And the biggest numerator here is 25. And 25 is from here, which is this fraction 5 over 6. So 5 over 6 is the first fraction, which is the biggest. So 5 over 6, then after 25 is 20, which is here and is from 2 over 3. So we're going to say 2 over 3. Then after 20 is 18 here, 18 over 30, which is from this 18 and is this fraction, which is 3 over 5. So say next one is 3 over 5. Then the next one is 10 over 30, which is from here and it is 1 over 3. So 1 over 3 is the next fraction. And finally we have 2 over 30, which is from 2 and is 1 over 15. So 1 over 15. You can see that using this method has helped us in putting all the denominators to be the same, and thereby helping us to arrange the fractions. So let's check our option. So from our option now, the answer is C. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 18 says find the square root of the lowest common multiple of 12 and 18. So we're going to find the square root of the LCM of 12 and 18. So the first thing to do is to find the lowest common multiple of 12 and 18. So let's go. The lowest common multiple of 12 and 18 now. 12, draw a line. 18. We're going to use a prime factor method. Prime factors, of course, are numbers that are only divisible by 1 and themselves. So what is the smallest prime factor that can divide any of these number? Of course, is 2, because it's 2 is a prime factor. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 2 can still go. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 9 divided by 2, of course, there will be remainder. So you have to write the 9 back. So what's the next prime number that can divide? Since 2 cannot go into 3 and 9 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. What's the next prime number? Is 3. You write your 1 back. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So now our LCM is 2 by 2 by 3 by 3. So 2 by 2 is 4. Times 3 is 12. Times 3 is 36. So the LCM is 36. But remember, the question says we should find the square root of 36. So we're going to find the square root of this 36. Of course, the square root of 36 is 6. How did I know that? You can use the prime method, the prime factor method also. So write 36. 2 can go. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 2 can still go. 18 divided by 2 is 9. What can go? Of course, 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And what can go is 3. 3 here is 1. So you can group them in 2 since is square root. You group them in 2s. So if you group them in 2s, we have this one is a group of 2 and this one is a group of 3s, right? So multiply them. 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So therefore, we can say the square root of 36 is equals to 6. So our answer is 6. The square root of this LCM of 12 and 18 is 6. So from our option, the answer is E, 6. Let's move to the next number. All right, question 19 says, if 20% discount is given on an article which costs 20,000, how much will a buyer pay for the article? So note that the discount is 20%. So discount is 20% and the cost is 20,000 of 20,000 naira. So how are we going to go about this? In order for us to know the actual amount of the article, we will have to get the amount of the discount. Remember, the amount is presently in percentage. So now we have to convert that percent to actual amount. Then we will subtract it from the cost. Then we'll know the actual amount of the article. So we're going to say the cost of, so amount of discount is going to be what? It's going to be 20%, which is 20 over 100. That's the meaning of percent as we've seen earlier. So 20 over 100 times our total cost, because it's 20%. So it's going to be 20% of the total cost, which is 20,000. And the meaning of in mathematics, as we've seen, is percent, is multiplication. So we're going to say 20 over 100 times 20,000, then over 1. Know that this 0 will cancel this 0. We are left with what? 20, this one here, times 200. So let's multiply 200 times 20. So 0 here, 0, 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 2, 0. 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 0, 0, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we're left with what? 4,000 naira. So our discount is what? 4,000 naira. If you want to know the actual amount, so actual amount now is going to be what? Is going to be the cost minus discount. So what is our cost? The cost is what? 20,000 minus our discount, which is what? 4,000 naira. So if you subtract 20,000 minus 4,000, let's subtract it up here. We said 20,000 minus 4,000, right? So 0 was 0, 0 here, 0, 0 here, 0. So this one here, you borrow 1, it remain 3, remain 1, put it here. 10 minus 4 is 6, and bring down your 1. So the answer is what? 16,000. So the actual amount is going to be 16,000 naira. So that's the actual amount of the article. So let's check our options. So from our option, now the answer is B, 16,000 naira. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 20 says find the value of x in equation x over 5 is equal to 24 over 40. So how are we going to do? Whenever you have a pair of fractions that have an equality sign, the best thing to do is to cross multiply. So we're going to cross multiply. We're going to have 5 times 24 and x times 40. So x times 40 is x. You have x times 40 is equals to 5 times 24. So x times 40 is 40x is equals to 5 times 24 is equals to 120. How? So 24 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Put 0, carry 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So we're going to have 120. So divide both sides as we have seen earlier. Divide it by the coefficient of x, which is 40. 40, right? So this divided by this. And this 0 will cancel this 0. You're left with 12 over 4. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. Because 4 here is 1, 4 here is 3. So our x is equal to 3. So let's check our option. Do I have anything like 3? Of course, the answer is D. Let's move to the next question. Alright, question 21 says, which of the following is divisible by 8 without remainder? So we have the first one is 38. Then we have 49 options. We have 58. We have 64. And we have 84. So what is the meaning of divisibility? That is any number that can divide by 8 without any remainder. So the first one is 38 divided by 8, right? 38 divided by 8. So let's try and divide it and see. So 38 divided by 8 is 4 with remainder. So that means 38 is not divisible. What of 49? It's going to give you 6 with remainders. So that means this is not a factor. That, or we can say that this is not divisible. This one is going to 58 is going to give us 7 with remainder. So that is not the answer. Of course, 64 divided by 8 is 8. So 64 divided by 8 will go 8 times. So you don't need to check the next one. The answer is 64, which is what? D. Let's move to the next question. Alright, question 22 says find the value of x if 6x plus 7 is equals to 25. So remember I told you that whenever you have an unknown, this one has an x, but these two has no x. So what are we going to do? We're going to, of course, move those one that doesn't have x together, and the one that have x will stay in one side, right? And remember that whenever a number crosses an equality sign, the sign of that number, it will change. If it is plus, it changes to minus, and if it is minus, it changes to plus. So let's move this 7 to this side. If you move 7 to this side, it's going to, from this plus 7 is going to change to minus 7. It's going to change to minus 7. So we're going to have 6x equals to 25 minus 7. So now we have 6x is equal to 25 minus 7. So let's subtract it. 25 minus 7. 5 minus 7 is not possible. You borrow 1. Here it remains 15. And 15 minus 7 is 8. Right? And remember you have your 1 here. You write down the 1. So it's 18. So we're going to have 18. So how are we going to get our x? Remember, we divide it by the coefficient of x, which is 6. So we divide both sides by 6. So divide by 6 and divide by 6. This will cancel this. 18 divided by 6. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Divided by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. So our x is here is 1 is 3. So therefore we can say that x is equal to 3. So let's check our options. So from our option, the answer is A, 3. Let's move to the next number. All right, question 23 says Ochuko. Sorry if I did not pronounce it well. So Ochuko is 32 years old. So we say Ochuko is 32 years, all right, old, and her sister is 14 years old. So Ochuko is even a lady. So sister is 14 years old. What was the sum of their ages 5 years ago? Can you say 5 years ago? That means we have to remove 5 years from their ages first before finding the sum. So 5 years ago, we have to subtract 5 years. So minus 5 and minus 5. Can you see? So 32 minus 5. So we're going to say the new age of Ochuko. So Ochuko's years 5 years ago will be what? So we said 5 years ago will be what? For Ochuko will be 32 minus 5. So let's subtract it. 32 minus 5. So 2 minus 5 is not possible. You borrow 1 here. It meant 2. You put 12 minus 5 is 7. And bring down your 2. So 5 years ago, Ochuko was 27 years. Then her sister now, 5 years ago will be what? 14 minus 5 as well. So 4 minus 5, 14 minus 5 is 9. So will be 9 years old. So the question said we should find the sum. That means we're going to add their ages 5 years ago. So we're going to actually add 27 plus 9. So say 27 plus 9. And 9 plus 7 is 16. Put 6, carry 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So the sum of their age is what? 20 is what? So the sum of their ages is 36 years. So the sum of their ages 5 years ago is 36 years. So let's check our options. We have a 36 here. We have C. Next question. All right. Question 24 says, which of the following numbers 29, 33, 49, 57, and 69 is a prime number? So what is a prime number? That's the question. A prime number is a number that is divisible by 1 and itself only. So we said a prime number is a number that is only divisible by 1 and itself. So let's check it. Which number among them that is divisible by 1 and itself? So is there a number that can divide 29? Of course, no. It's only 29 and 1. So you can see that this one is a prime number. Can you see? What of 33? Of course, 3 can divide 33. And 33 divided by 3 is 11. 11 can also divide 33 because 33 divided by 11 is 3. So 33 is not a prime number. And see, then 49, of course, 49, 7 times 7 divided by 49 is 7. So this is not a prime number. Then 57. So 57, of course, we have 3 can divide 57. So it's not a prime number. Then we have 69. Of course, 3 can also divide 69. So 69 is not a prime number. So from our option now, the answer is A, 29. So let's move to the next question. Right, question 25 says, find the value of x in the equation. X plus 2 whole number 1 over 3 equals to 2. So we have x plus 2 whole number 1 over 3 is equals to 2. Right? So the first thing is to check if there's any mixed fraction so that we can convert it to improper fraction. So of course we have this one here. So it's going to be x plus, now converting this one will be 2 times 3 is 6, right? And 6 plus 1 is 7. So we have 7 over 3 is equals to 2. So balance these ones with 1. What I'm going to do next, of course, all the denominators are different. We find the LCM of the denominator. So find the LCM of 3 and 1. So what's the LCM of? So what is that prime number that can go? Of course, it's 3. 3 here is 1 and 1. So the LCM is 3. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. And 3, the 3 times x is 3x, right? So we have 3x plus 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 1 times 7 is 7. Right? The 7 is equals to, these are equal to sign. These are equal to, then we said 3 divided by 1 is 3. And 3 times 2 is 6. So we have 6 here. So what I'm going to do, we cancel the LCM. Why? Because of the presence of this equality sign. In the previous question, I told you that whenever you have equality sign in fraction, after taking the LCM, you cancel the LCM. So now we have a linear equation, that is, this one now will be our equation. So we bring it down. 3x plus 7 is equals to 6. So what we're going to do, we move this 7 to this side so that it will meet its fellow number. This one is having an alphabet. So moving to the other side, remember that this plus will change to minus. So we have 3x is equals to 6 minus 7. And we have 3x is equals to 6 minus 7 is 1, right? So now what are we going to have? We're going to have 3x is equals to 1. Divide both sides by what? By the coefficient of x, which is 3. So 3 here, 3 here. So this cancels this. And our answer is x equals to 1 over 3. So that's the answer. So let's check. Of course, the answer is C. Let's move to the next question. Alright, question 26 says simplify 2a plus b when a is equals to 3 and b is equals to minus 2. So what is the meaning of this? We're going to substitute all the value of a and b in this equation. So whenever we see a in the equation, this equation, we're going to put what? 3 instead of that a. And whenever we see b in this equation, we're going to put minus 2. So we're going to substitute them. So in substituting it down, it's going to be 2 instead of a is going to be 3. Remember that a is equal to 3. Then plus, instead of b, we have what? Minus 2. Right? So 2 times 3, this 2 times 3 is going to be 6. So we have 6. Then positive times negative. Remember, when you have negative times negative, will always give you positive. Then positive times positive will always give you positive. Then negative times positive will always give you negative, and positive times negative will always give us negative. So now this one here is positive times negative, right? Which is this. So it's going to give us negative. So we have minus 2. So 6 minus 2 is equals to 4. So that's our answer. So let's check our options. Of course, the answer is C. Let's move to the next question. All right. Question 27 says calculate the area of the triangle below. So what type of triangle is this? Of course, it's a right angle triangle. Why? Because it's having a right angle here, 90 degrees. Okay, so this is the longest side, is called the hypotenuse. Then this one is always called the opposite, and this one is always called the adjacent, right? So but that's not our business. Why? Because the question says we should find the area of this triangle. So what is the formula for calculating the area of a triangle? We know that area half base times height, right? So let's go back. What is the base of this? What's the base of our triangle? The base is what? 12 centimeters. And this is the height, not this. Remember that this is just a slant height, but not the height. So the height there is 5. So going by that information, we're going to say the area is equal to half times what? What is our base? Our base is 12 times our height is 5. So we can balance this one with 1, balance this one with 1. 2 here is 1 and 2 here is 6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we'll be left with what? 1 times this one here times 6 times 5. So 1 times 6 times 5. And it's going to be 1 times 6 is 1 times 6 is 6, and the 6 times 5 is 30. 30. So therefore the area is equal to 30 centimeter square, because area is measured in square. So you have anything like 30 centimeter square? Yes, B is the answer. So let's move to the next question. All right, question 28 says if x to ratio 2 is equal to 12 to ratio 4, find the value of x. This is a simple question. Why? Remember that ratio simply means division. If I have a to ratio b, is something as saying a divided by b. Can you see? So if that's the case, let's use it to solve this question. X, remember that x to ratio 2 is what? It will be what? X over 2 is equals to, now will be what? 12 divided by 4, since it is 12 to ratio 4. So it's going to be 12 divided by 4. So what are we going to do? We're going to cross multiply. If you cross multiply this, you have 12 times 2 and x times 4. So x times 4 is equal to 12 times 2. So x times 4 is 4x, equals to 12 times 2 is 24. So divide both sides by the coefficient of x as usual, which is 4 and 4. This 4 cancel this 4, and 24 divided by 4 is what? So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Divide by 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. So therefore our x now will be also 6. So that's the value of x. So let's check our options. The answer is D. Alright, question 29 says if 3y is equals to 150, so 3y is equals to 150, what is the value of y minus 2? Right? So the first thing to do is to solve this equation. So let's solve the equation first before we will know the value of y. So by solving this, remember that if you want to find an alphabet, you divide it by the coefficient of the alphabet. So this is just divide both sides by 3. This cancel this. So we are left with what? Y is equal to 150 divided by 3. So 150 divided by 3. You know that 3 divided by, you know that 15 divided by 3 is 5. And remember, we have there is 0 left here. We write it here. So that means our y is equal to 50. So we are not done yet. Why? Because we are asked to find y minus 2. So what is our y? Remember that we've gotten our y as 50. So we're going to say what? Now, instead of y, we'll say 50 minus 2. And 50 minus 2 is what? So let's subtract and say 50 minus 2. So borrow 1 from here, remember 4, you put it here, it will be 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. Bring down your 4 here. So it's going to be 48. So therefore the answer is 48. So let's check our option. Of course, A is the answer. Let's move to the next question. Alright, question 30 says, find the value of K in the figure below. So this is angle on a straight line. Remember that the sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. That means if you add this side plus this side, we should be able to get 180 degrees. So using that now, we know that if you add 93, add 93 plus Ka, it should be able to give us 180 degrees, right? So let's use that one to our advantage. We're going to say 93 degrees plus K now. If you add all of them, it should be able to give us 180 degrees because sum of angles on the straight line is 180 degrees. So what I'm going to do, this is an alphabet and this is a number. So this number will have to move to the other side. And if it moves, remember that this 93 is having invisible plus here, right? So if this 93 moves to the other side, it's going to be minus 93. So we'll have K is equals to 180 minus 93. So let's subtract it down here. 180 minus 93. So 0 minus 3 is not possible. You borrow 1 here. Remain 7. Put it here. 10 minus 3 is 7. Right? So 7 minus 9 is not possible. We borrow 1 from here. Remain 0. Put it will be 17. 17 minus 9 is actually 8. So we have 8. So K is equal to 87 degrees. Simple. So let's check our options. Do we have anything like 87 degrees? Yes, D. D is the answer. Alright, question 31 says, how many lines of symmetry does a square have? So what is a square? You know, square has 4 equal sides, right? Something like this. Right? This is a square. So what is line of symmetry? Line of symmetry is actually the lines that divide a shape into equal parts. So how many lines of symmetry do you think a square will have? So let's separate and see. This is the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see that it has divided this square into 8 equal parts using how many lines? 4 lines. So a square has 4 lines of symmetry. So the answer is E. Let's move to the next question. Alright, question 32. Alright, question 32 says, calculate the volume of a cylinder whose radius is 3 centimeters and perpendicular height 7 centimeters. Take pi as 22/7. So from the question, we say the radius, which is usually r, is equals to 3 centimeters. Then the height, perpendicular height, which is always represented by h, is 7 centimeters, and pi is equals to 22/7. So the first question is, what is the formula for calculating the volume of a cylinder? The volume of a cylinder, volume, is given by pi r square h. You see, pi times square of the radius times the height. So now we are going to substitute this. Going to say our pi is 22/7. Then we have 2 of the radius, right? So that means we'll have 2 of the 3. So we say times 3 times 3. Then times the height, which is 7. So 7. So balance this one with 1. Balance with 1. Balance with 1. You can see that this 7 can cancel this 7. We'll be left with 22 times 3 times 3. So let's multiply it down here. We're going to have 22 times the first 3. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 2 is 6. Times the next 3. So 3 times 6 is 18. 8 carry 1. And 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19. So the volume will be equal to 198 centimeter cube, because its volume we measured it in cube. So the answer is 198 centimeter cube. Do you have anything like that? Yes. The answer is C. So let's move to the next question. All right. Question 33 says, find the area of the shaded portion in the diagram below. So from this diagram, we are we will notice that there are two rectangles, the biggest rectangle and the smallest rectangle. The biggest rectangle is the one outside, and the smallest rectangle is the one inside. So how are we going to get the shaded portion? In order to get the shaded portion is to subtract the area of the smallest rectangle from the area of the biggest rectangle. So we're going to say shaded portion is equals to area of large rectangle minus area of small rectangle. So now, what is the area of the large rectangle? So for the large now, let's see the large. We know that from the large now, the length is 12 centimeters while the breadth or the width is 5 centimeters. So we're going to say length is equal to 12 centimeters and the breadth is equal to 5 centimeters. Then for the small, the length is 7 centimeters while the breadth or the width is 3 centimeters. So length is equals to 7 centimeters and the breadth is equals to 3 centimeters. So what's the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle? We know that the area of rectangle is given by length times breadth. So it's going to be 12 times 5, right? And this one, same thing. A is equal to length times breadth, which is what? 7 times 3. And 12 times 5. So let's multiply up here. 12 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Put 0, carry 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. So it's 60. So the area here of the big or the large rectangle is 60 centimeter square, right? And for the small one, it's going to be 7 times 3. And 7 times 3 is 21. So this one is going to give us 21 centimeter square. So remember, we said that the shaded portion is the area of the large rectangle minus the area of the small rectangle. So we're going to say this one will be 60 minus 21. So let's subtract it. 60 minus 21. So 0 minus 1 is not possible. We borrow 1 here. Remember 5. Put it here. It's going to be 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. And 5 minus 2 is 3. So it's 39. So it's going to give us 39 centimeter square. So this is the area of the shaded portion. Can you see? 39 centimeter square. So let's check our option. The answer is C. Let's move to the next question. All right. Question 34 says the area of a rectangle is 24 centimeters square. If the breadth is 3 centimeters square, find the length. So from the question, the area has been given already. So the area is 24 centimeters square. And the breadth has been given as what? 3 centimeters square. We should find the length. So now what is the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle? You know that is area is equals to length times breadth, right? But the area here has been given as 24 centimeters square and the breadth has been given as 3 centimeters square. So we're going to substitute. Instead of writing the area, we're going to write 24 centimeters square. So we have 24 centimeters square is equals to, what is our length? We don't know. So we say length times what is our breadth? Our breadth is 3 centimeters square. So we say 3. So we're going to have 24 is equals to length times breadth. That's length times 3. L times 3 is 3L. So we are looking for L. We divide both sides by the coefficient of the alphabet, which is 3. Divide both sides by 3. So this cancels this. So 24 divided by 3 is 8, right? So 24 divided by 3 is 8. So 8 is equals to L. That means L is equals to 8. If A is equals to B, B is same thing as A, right? So if 8 is equals to L, that means L is equals to 8. So the length is 8 what centimeters. So let's check our option. The answer is what? B. Let's move to the next question. Question 35 says find the height of the trapezium below if its area is 28 centimeter. It's almost the same question with the previous one, but this one is a trapezium while the previous one was a rectangle. So the area has been given. Area is equal to 28 centimeter square, right? So we are to find the area, we are to find the height of the trapezium. So now what is the formula for calculating the area of a trapezium? The area is given as area is equals to A plus B over 2 multiplied by H, where A is usually the longest side, this one here, and B is usually the shortest side at the top, which is this, right? So that means our A is equals to 10 centimeters and our B is equals to 6 centimeters. So now we are going to substitute it into this formula, right? Remember that area has been given us 28 centimeters already. So we're going to say, instead of writing area, we're going to write what? 28 is equals to, what is our A? Our A is 10 plus what is our B, which is what? 6 centimeters. So we're going to say 6 over, then we have 2. What is our H? Our H is unknown. We don't know it, right? So this one is going to be 28 is equals to 6 plus 10 is 16 over 2 and H, right? So this one is going to be 28 is equals to 16 divided by 2. Here is 8. Remember, we still have our H. So we're going to have 8H here. So in order to get the height, we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient of h, which is 8. So divide both sides by 8, 8. So this will cancel this, and you have 28 divided by 8 will give us 3.5. That's 3.5, right? So here is 1, here is 3.5 or 3.5. So 3.5 is equals to h. So therefore, we're going to say our h is equals to 3.5 centimeters. So that is the height, 3.5. So let's check our options. Of course, B is the answer. All right, question 36 says calculate the value of P in the diagram below. So the question is, what is this diagram? Of course, this is a right angled triangle. Right angled triangle because it's having 90 degrees here, right? And as we have seen earlier that this is usually having three sides. We have the hypotenuse, which is the longest side. We have the adjacent, and we have the opposite. So now, how are we going to calculate this P? Of course, it's very possible using what we call the Pythagoras rule or the Pythagoras theory. So what does the Pythagoras rule says? Pythagoras rule says that the square of the hypotenuse, that's the square of the longest side. So the hypotenuse square is equal to the square of the opposite. So we have square of the opposite, square it, plus the square of the adjacent. So that's the Pythagoras rule. And the Pythagoras rule is a rule that is mostly used in the solution of the side of right angle triangle. So for instance, the diagram we have here. So how are we going to solve it? We know that our hypotenuse is P, right? Which is the unknown. So we're going to say hypotenuse, which is P square, don't forget the square, is equal to our opposite, which is what? 5. Is that not? Be 5 square. Then plus the adjacent, which is 12 centimeters. So it's going to be 12 square. So now this one is going to be p square is equal to 5 square means 5 times 5. Please note that 5 square doesn't mean 5 times 2, but 5 in two places. That's 5 times 5. So we're going to have 5 times 5 is 25, right? So we have 25 plus 12 square is going to be 12 times 12. And 12 times 12 is 144. So we have 144. So add them, we're going to have 25 plus 144. So this one is going to be 9, this one will be 6 and 1. So our p square will be equal to 169. So how can we get rid of this square? Or how can we get our p? Remember, we're looking for p, not p square. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. So whenever you have a square and you want to remove the square root, you take the square of both sides. So this square will cancel this square root. You'll be left with p is equal to the square root of 169. So what is the square root of 169? The square root of 169 is actually 13. So it equals to 13 centimeters. So that is the P. So let's check our option. Our option is C. Question 37 says, what is the sum of angles in a triangle? Of course, the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. The answer is A. So let's move to the next question. Question 38 says, what is the name of the shape below? So from the diagram here, what can you see? You can see that there are 3 lines here. Yeah? These 3 lines is trying to tell you that all the sides are equal, right? Since all the sides are equal, we call it equilateral triangle because all the sides are equal. This is not a complete triangle, as A already said. B, equilateral triangle is the answer. And this is not an isosceles triangle because isosceles triangle, 2 of the sides are equal. Maybe having something like this. So it was this one, and can tell you that this side and this side are equal, but this one is different. That's why you can see it's having 2 strokes. Then right angle triangle is the type of triangle that we've seen earlier that is having a what? Is having a 90 degrees inside. Then we have a scalene triangle. A scalene triangle is a type of triangle that all the sides are different. We have 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here. Different strokes. Trying to tell you that all the sides are different. So, but in this case, all the sides are the same. We call it equilateral triangle. So the answer is B. Alright, question 39. Find the mode of the following numbers. We have 3, 7, 3, 5, 4, 3, 4, 6, and 9. So the question is, what is mod? Mod is the number that has the highest frequency. Mod means what? Highest frequency, or we can say highest appearance. Among these numbers, which one has the highest appearance? We, of course, is 3. How many 3s do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. Is there a number that has 3 appearance? Of course, no. So the answer is 3. So the mod is 3. Answer is A. Alright, the last mathematics question we have here is question 40, which says find the average of the set of numbers. We have 22, 44, 66, and 12. So what is average? Average simply means the summation of all the numbers divided by the numbers. What does that mean? It means that how many numbers we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to sum everything divided by 4 because we have 4 of the numbers here. So we said average now will be 22 plus 44 plus 66 plus 12, all divided by how many numbers we have here? We have 4 of them. Can you see? So 22, let's add them. 22 plus 44 plus 66 plus 12. So let's add them. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus this 6 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. Put 4, carry 1. So 1 plus 3 is 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13. And 13 plus 1 is 14. So we're going to have 144 over 4. So 144 divided by 4 is actually what? 36. If we divide it, we're going to have 36. Right? So let's check our options. Of course, from our option, the answer is B, 36. So that's it for mathematics. All right. With this, we have come to the end of the solution of the mathematics part of the 2021 National Common Entrance Examination. As usual, I will always advise you that learning doesn't stop here. Get more questions and practice it, because practice makes perfect. Remember, if you want to support this channel and you need more of this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Till then, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.